Welcome in to Kickin' It with Jake and Noah. I'm Noah Ep.2 on Tuesday, and I should have done the date, Jake. You're right, I should have done the date.
You say June 24th. I tried to tell you, man.
Yeah, I should have done the date. Jake told me I should. Jake gave me the date. I didn't use the date. That's what I get. But nonetheless, it's a terrific day of World Cup action. We've had cannibals. We've had herbivores. We've had everything today in the World Cup. And we had a lot yesterday, too. We can't forget about the days past in the World Cup, including a USA draw with Portugal and, of course, Netherlands in a terrific game, defeating Chile to top Group B, and hosts Brazil moved through as well. So, first of all, let's do a little introduction and a little,
Self-promoting and stuff?
Self-promoting. Great self-promoting. First of all, you can like us on Facebook at Kickin' It with Jake and Noah. We're getting started. We're slowly moving up. I think we're at what?
Did we move? Wait, so Kickin' It is official even though it's a Disney Channel name?
I don't know. Well, we may change it eventually, but we're leaving.
I like Corner Kick, man.
I don't like Corner Kick.
Welcome to the Corner Kick with Jake and Noah. You are in the corner.
You are in the corner, but we don't have any guarantees of scoring off the corner.
But with Jake and Noah, you do, and that's why you tune in to the Corner Kick with Jake and Noah.
If you have like an opinion, just either send it to my Twitter at Noah Ep.2 or send or message us on the page, whatever you want to do.
Or my Twitter at Jake Liker. As you can see, I use my Twitter a lot more often than Noah does.
Yeah, that's because I use Facebook more often. I'm the Facebook guy. He's not.
Twitter person.
Instead of doing the positives of Jake, I do the negative by saying not. Okay.
Fine. We won't let you score in our Corner Kick.
In case you haven't realized, the other person talking is Jake Liker. So we'll have Jake introduce himself now. Jake, how are you doing today?
I'm Jake Liker. I'm doing well. I'm back in Los Angeles. It's so great to be back. There's not a cloud in the sky. The weather is perfect. This is how summer in Los Angeles is meant to be. Wow. A lot of stuff today. How about that? First of all, I just need to address this. USA Portugal was absolutely heartbreaking. We will all heal our wounds at one point, hopefully against Germany, but we'll talk about that too. For me, I haven't done a radio show, my own radio show, Rookies Roundup, in some time, but we will soon. So, like Rookies Roundup on Facebook. We've been off on a little vacation. Everyone's entitled to a little vacation. So, like Rookies Roundup Facebook. Follow me on Twitter at Jake Liker. Follow me on Instagram now. Jake_Liker. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it? Am I forgetting anything?
I don't think so. So if your weather's nice, yeah, I'm in Cartagena right now, Colombia. Of course, Colombia meaning the South American country, not in South Carolina. Yeah, it's 99 degrees right now where I am. We're about to touch 100, and it's humid.
Yeah, you've got 99 degrees, and your humidity is... You got 99 problems, and the humidity is one.
Oh, by the way,
I don't know.
It feels like 105. This is Qatar. I am in Qatar right now. So if you want to know what it feels like to play in a Qatar World Cup, come to Cartagena, Colombia.
No. The average Qatar temperature is actually, you're going to need about 17 degrees more.
I know. But you know what? At least you can get near to it. So let's get started. There's nowhere else we could start besides Hannibal Suarez. Yeah, so he has bitten players twice before, has Luis Suarez, once with Ajax, once with Liverpool, and now, you know what, he decided, let's mix it up, let's get it into the national team, too. He did it with Uruguay today against Chiellini, then played it off like his tooth was hurt. If you want to play it off, you probably shouldn't do the part where everybody's blaming you for using. Just a quick suggestion. And everybody's in outrage. Jake, what are your thoughts on what Luis Suarez did today when biting Giorgio Chiellini of Italy?
Well, here's the thing. I started to follow football or soccer sort of on a club stage around February, but I've learned about Luis Suarez. I know the things he said. I know that he's had previous biting incidents. We learned a lot more about that today. My alarm went off twice this morning, but I slept through it. And that's what I get for missing it, but I did see the highlights. I did see the goal. I did see the little red card. This game was kind of just a mess. But when Suarez comes in and does that, and I think, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Alexi Lalas made a great point. He needs help. Because these are the actions of a raging, rampant psychopath. He's been suspended before. He's fined before. He doesn't get it. So right now, I don't care if you like Italian. I like Italian too. But somebody has to get Cannibal Lecter over here off the field. I forget the World Cup. He needs serious help. If you're asking me, he needs to be banned for the rest of the World Cup. He needs to be banned for the rest of for the entire Premier League season with Liverpool. He should be banned for UEFA Champions League matches. He should not be allowed to play in any FIFA match or British match, any soccer match until August of 2015 because it's out of control. He cannot learn his lesson. Clearly, we haven't punished him for long enough. So clearly, it's time to enough with the minor and major penalties. We got to send him into the game misconduct. Get out of the penalty box and walk off the ice.
Let's start this. By the way, so a guy on Bleacher Report comment basically said that Chiellini's shoulder hit Suarez in the mouth. And this guy, Tim, responds, yeah, just like Holyfield's ear hit Tyson in the mouth, too. I thought that was terrific, by the way. I mean, look, this...
You know what Holyfield tweeted?
Yeah, so now I guess that any part of the body is gay. It's fair game. It was pretty great. I mean, everybody's response... The response has been great. Sydney Leroux of the women's soccer team said, Suarez is going with the if you can't beat him, eat him approach. Of course, they did end up winning, but at the point when they were tied, that was probably the best tweet I had seen. Look, first of all, before the suspension comes in, psychopath. So let's get him a psychologist, a therapist. Let's get him everything. Get him a binky so he can sleep better. Whatever he needs to, not bite people, because that's unacceptable. There's no room for that in soccer. It gives a bad name to soccer. And this is a guy, first of all, the English media was already bombarding him. So it's going to get worse. He's definitely going to be wanting out of Liverpool. The question is, what teams will want him? Real Madrid and Barcelona were rumored to want him. But here's the thing. Barcelona now is the front runner, and Barcelona has a long tradition. They are a proud team. They don't bring in whoever if the person is going to be a bad, influence on the team and give them a bad name. I think Real Madrid has looked other directions as well with Kun Aguero as a potential solution to their striker problems. So it's definitely going to hurt his stock when it comes to that. And I agree with you 100% on the ban. The ban, let's start with this. He's out next game. He's out the game after that if they were able to advance. He's out for the rest of the World Cup at least. And if FIFA doesn't do that, that's just another failure for them. And
this is corrupt, but they kind of already are.
Yeah. Let's say this. Look, there are some people who are calling for a life ban. That's not going to happen, to be fair. But a year-long ban, you know what? I think that's acceptable. Because what he did was unacceptable. You can't go around biting people. And if it happens, it's not like it's a first time. A first time, look, he got suspended 7 games. But now, on the world's biggest stage, I'm sorry. He's out for the year, and if they don't do it, you know what? It's acceptable if they do it for at least half a year, but they have to do something, and they have to make it sure that this will not happen again. If it means getting him a psychologist, if it means not letting him come back for the rest of the year, whatever they have to do, I am all for it.
Yeah, because I wanted to see something, because there were 2 interesting quotes here. One from the player he bit.
Chiellini?
Who is the player?
Giorgio Chiellini.
Giorgio Chiellini. Okay, I'll look him up.
Yeah, look, I mean, he basically said that it was, and it was actually a great quote. I know what quote you're trying to...
It was, okay, here we go.
About FIFA.
Giorgio Chiellini said that... Quote. It's coming. Where is it? Ah.
Ah? Did you get bit by Suarez too? Jake, hold on, I'm coming. I'll help you out. Don't worry. Oh,
You gotta find you.
by the way, FIFA did announce that they will investigate the Suarez biting incident.
Investigate. They've also announced that they will investigate the Qatar issue.
Yeah, but this was a little harder to ignore considering, I think everybody knows about it at this point who's a soccer fan. I think Qatar has not as many people know about what the bad things are going on there. They just know that it's hot and they paid them off.
Wow, and I'm sensing a little bit of a BBC said reaction to Luis Suarez's bite, but bite in quotation marks.
Yeah, that's okay. Can I see here's what Suarez told the Uruguay media. These things happen in the box. We were in contact, chest against shoulder. I got a knock to the eye. Why are you holding your teeth if it hits you in the eye? See, Suarez has a problem where he confuses eye and teeth often. I don't know. Also, so Ben Smith, BBC, though, he tweeted out, Uruguay manager Oscar Tabarez says he has not seen the Suarez bite, but he said, Tabarez also claims that Ben Smith has an agenda against the player, as does the media. Why? It seems to me there's an animosity towards this player, is what Tabarez said. Yeah, no, there's a reason. There's a reason. And then Uruguay captain Diego Lugano obviously translated, but you have to be stupid to think that the mark on Chiellini is from today. Really?
Really?
You have to be stupid. So you're calling us stupid. I appreciate it. I like when people flatter me. And he's flattering me.
And here's the worst part. It's like, he's not even being disciplined for it by his own team. This has brought shame to him. It has brought shame to his country. Here's what Uruguayan coach Oscar Tabarez said when people asked him about it. He said, quote, "This is a World Cup." Well, by the way, this is through the interpreter. This is a World Cup. This is not about cheap morality. If we see he's going to be attacked, which has begun at this press conference, we are going to defend him as well.
Oh, could we also just say, congrats to McDonald's Uruguay. Do you see McDonald's Uruguay? In Spanish translation, hi Luis Suarez, if you're still hungry, come take a bite out of a Big Mac. That's, 17 years from now, Suarez and Chiellini will make a document together, like Tyson and Holyfield.
But Oscar Tabarez, cheap morality, dude, that's FIFA's game, man. When Sepp is forced to step down, I think Tabarez is the perfect man for the job.
Exactly. He's just gonna be like, you know what? You guys are wrong. I'm sorry. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The things that have been said by Tabarez, like, honestly, you can say, I didn't see what happened. We will look into it as a team. Sure, but there's no reason to go out and start attacking the media and saying that, we have an agenda against the player. It's just classless. And I think overall, the whole Uruguay team, I get they're trying to defend their teammate, but it's classless. As was many people who defended Suarez. But did you get the quotes from Chiellini yet?
For some reason, this disappeared.
I know what quotes you're talking about. I've been trying to find them too. Oh, here we go. I think I got it. Let's see. USA Today trying to load right now.
Basically, he said, if we can't find it.
Oh, I found it. I think I found it. I got it. You want me to say it, or do you want to paraphrase?
Yeah, no, say it.
Suarez is a sneak, and he gets away with it because FIFA wants their stars to play in the World Cup. I'd love to see if they have the courage to use video evidence against him. The referee saw the bite mark too, but he did nothing about it. And also quoting about the Marchisio red card. A ridiculous red card for Marchisio, and they failed to send off Suarez. The bite, it was clear cut. So he definitely felt that it was a bite, as does most other people.
Yeah, well, don't be offended if a lot of times they're giving you a cold shoulder today. So much Chiellini, though, when he's icing that shoulder off.
Also, if you find yourself encountered with a Suarez, call the police immediately, call the pound, call everybody, especially the pound.
But not at Suarez. Some poor Argentinian man, some poor man from Buenos Aires, whose Twitter handle is at Suarez, has been getting death threats from Twitter because they think he's Luis Suarez. First of all, no death threats, guys. Come on, be nice.
Only euthanizing threats because he's a dog.
Euthanasia.
Also, by the way, Wayne Dre's, my dog listens and learns better than Suarez. # no biting. Suarez has ruined his image. It will never come back now. It's over.
His country's image.
He's hurting a lot of images right now. Hurting a lot.
He is going into a museum of modern art and splashing paint all over it. But if it's the Museum of Modern Art, it's still just art, even after you've splashed nonsense everywhere.
He could become a famous artist claiming that those bites are modern art.
Oh yeah, no, those marks, their asymmetrical qualities represent the struggle to bring yin and yang together in our world for harmonious world peace, and the plight which all of humanity strives to get there. Very inspiring, Luis. I see what you're doing now.
Breaking news, Suarez says, I thought it was okay to bite people. I mean, eating people's okay. Right, okay. So, let's move on. You know what, Suarez, you're probably going to get banned for quite a while. But let's not get hung up on Suarez for too long. Let's move on to his team and how they played against Italy. And Jake, I will let you start. What did you think of Italy-Uruguay, though I know you weren't up to see most of it? You can still probably talk about it from the highlights.
Sure, from the highlights what I saw, first of all, there was the red card. I saw a GIF of it. If you want to call it a GIF, it's fine. It's still a GIF.
It's a GIF.
It's a GIF. Even if the inventor says it's a GIF. It's graphics, not giraffics. But the problem is here, with the red card for Italy, when I saw the GIF of it, at first it looked like it was wrong, but there was a different angle, and that was a vicious tackle. That was actually a good red card. He went right for his shin. At least the yellow card. But I can understand the red card. Even with the bite, even down a ban, I don't know what Italy's excuse is. I expected Italy to do well in this tournament. I'm out of excuses for them.
I am not.
It's over.
Let us just recount to the World Cup prediction show my overrated Italy. I said it. Because they are, unfortunately.
But here's the problem with Italy. Uruguay has probably one of the worst defenses in...
Really? I think they've proved that wrong.
Exactly their weakness. Italy should have easily gotten by that.
But they shouldn't have, though, because I don't think they were as good. If they easily should have, then why didn't they? Because they're not.
Because they did not come to play. They're too old. They were too old. I don't know what it was. They couldn't get out of bed this morning. I don't know. I just honestly don't know.
Let's start with this. First of all, I think the big issue here was Mario Balotelli. Scores a goal, great. Congratulations. But he was non-existent in the game against Costa Rica. He was non-existent today. You know what he did? He got a yellow, and had Italy gone through, he wouldn't have been playing the next game anyway. This is a guy who cannot seem to focus on what's at hand and cost his team. And you know what? They had to take him out of the game. Because of the fact, first of all, that he had a yellow, and they didn't want to risk a red, which they ended up having anyways. And second of all, he just wasn't doing anything. He hurt Italy, and I think he was very key to this team. Ciro Immobile cannot carry a team. Neither can Antonio Cassano or Thiago Motta or Marco Parolo. None of them can.
Marco Polo?
Marco Parolo. He was another one.
Oh, I thought you said Marco Polo. I'm like, please tell me that's an actual name.
And now let's go to Claudio Marchisio. Gets the red. It was not good. But Italy looked more potent than Uruguay before that goal. To let up that goal it's inexcusable because, frankly, a header should not be won how it was. It was an easy. He was basically unmarked. They got to do better than that.
Godin was unmarked.
Godin was unmarked. Let's give credit to Godin. Godin, that is his second straight game scoring a massive header. The last one, or third straight game. I mean, even in the Real Madrid game, he scored in that, even though they didn't win that game.
Well, are we pretending that Uruguay, the Costa Rica game, didn't exist?
But that didn't. It wasn't like a massive. Like, it wasn't a. Never. Okay.
Did he score against Costa Rica?
I don't know.
Did he score against England?
No. England was both.
What?
England was both the third straight big game, meaning Atletico against Real, Atletico against Barcelona, and this one.
I'm sorry, they're all big games in the World Cup.
The third straight. This is an elimination game. I'm more of an elimination kind of game.
All right.
That's whatever. But look, he comes up big when it matters most. Great goal, but Italy has to do better marking wise. Italy crashed out. Their lack of attacking potential was disappointing. I think the loss of Montolivo really hurt because I think he would have made a big difference in the creativity in the midfield. Pirlo is getting older. His career is all but done. And when it came down to it, they just couldn't get anything done. When Pirlo disappeared and Balotelli disappeared, you can't rely on Marco Verratti. He's still very young. Matteo Darmian hasn't proved himself. Neither has Desciglio, who was playing more of a defensive role. The team overall just wasn't able to get it done. They didn't have what they've had in years past, which has been an ability to score, an ability to find openings in the defense, and they just weren't able to do that. They weren't able to hold out Uruguay when it mattered most. And you look at this is the second straight World Cup now that Italy will be going out in the first round. They won't even make it to the knockout stages, and that is a shame for Italy, which is a proud soccer country. They have to do something. And of course, you know what? It's hard. Jake, here's the thing. I agree with you that there's no excuses, but I still saw this coming. Once I saw that game against Costa Rica and I saw how tired they were, before Costa Rica scored, you could tell that they were just too tired. They just didn't have what it took anymore. They weren't that same cutthroat, deadly defending, creative midfield run by Pirlo as they once were. And let us say, Cesar Prandelli, coach of Italy, resigned after the game. So Italy has a coaching vacancy as well. Anything else, Jake, or can we move on to who Uruguay will be playing next?
It seems to be just interesting to know all the big World Cup violence on the pitch instances. Italy is always on the wrong side of it.
That's very true. Well, Italy...
Zidane?
The Zidane thing, he said something about his mother, apparently.
No, does anyone really knows what he says? Zidane won't even say what he said.
Yeah. That's true.
But whatever...
Italy's doing something.
I just kind of feel bad for Italy. I didn't see this coming. But again, Costa Rica. It'll be very interesting to see Costa Rica versus Greece, a defensive match. Again, keep your eye out for Keylor Navas, goalkeeper of Los Ticos. Do not forget about him.
Jake will take every opportunity to talk about his breakout player. He's deserved it. He deserves it. Jake deserves it for a great call there with Keylor Navas, who has been exceptional throughout this World Cup, allowing only one goal.
Costa Rica given up? I believe Costa Rica has only given up one goal.
One. So here's the question. Ochoa or Navas? It's a legitimate question. Hey, how about... No, we also talked about Nigeria's goalie, who has yet to give up a goal, though he has played one game less. We'll see if he can keep that going against Argentina, which is probably not going to happen, but you never know. You never know. Argentina has not...
I want to say a quick thing.
Yes.
To Bosnia-Herzegovina, from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry. No one should have to go through this, especially not in their debut, and such a young, talented team that, I mean, they were robbed in that game against Nigeria.
Edin Dzeko was robbed, as was the whole...
It was blasphemous. It was a disgrace. It was a mockery. It was farcical. Bosnia lost to the boss man this time, and that was FIFA. So next time around, be very scared of Bosnia. They're going to be out there, and they will be looking for blood. They are out, not like Luis Suarez. You know what I mean? Vengeance. They're going for vengeance.
Also,
so yeah, just feel terrible for them.
Before we move on, Colin Cowherd just tweeted out, "This Luis Suarez cat is in the Terrell Owens galaxy of delusional." I would agree. So we move on now. In Group C, Colombia was able to defeat Japan 4-1. They were tied 1-1 at halftime, but Colombia was just too much for this Japanese side. 2 goals from Jackson Martinez in a row, followed by a beautiful chip goal from James Rodriguez, his third of the tournament. Jackson had 2, which ties him with Messi, and he did it in the game. And by the way, there was mostly bench players for Colombia, but it didn't matter. They have a perfect record going through. They will play, of course, Uruguay at the host site. Multiple times, by multiple I mean 2, in World Cup qualifying. Colombia, of course, finished with 30 points, 5 points above Uruguay. Uruguay against Colombia, they were able to beat them 2-0 at home in the second time they played, but most people would agree Colombia dominated that game for 75 minutes before Uruguay was able to break through. And in the other matchup, Colombia absolutely destroyed Uruguay 4-0, a goal coming in the second minute from Falcao, who of course will not be playing. Goal from Teofilio Gutierrez and Zuniga, which put them up 4-0 against Uruguay. A just dominant performance. And the question now is, will Uruguay be able to erase how they've played against Colombia? I mean, being outscored 4-2 and being dominated in both games is not how you want to go into this. They're going to have revenge on their minds, but they will be without Suarez most likely. We don't know, but I would expect that Suarez will not be playing in that game. They didn't play well without Suarez against Costa Rica. You know what? Muslera has a yellow card, so he's at risk of missing another game, even if he makes it out of this one. Even if Uruguay makes it out, so he has to be careful as well, especially being their starting goalie. They have had troubles scoring. It hasn't been like an excess of goals at all times. And this Colombia team has been cruising right now. So, Jake, what are your thoughts on the matchup between the two South American squads?
I think Colombia has a clear upper hand here. I think that finally Uruguay's Achilles heel, which is their defenders, is going to catch up to them. It's just not up to par, I should say, as Colombia's. I think that from what we've seen so far, look, could say they had an easier group stage than most. But if they had Falcao, this team has World Cup champion potential. They have done everything. They have done everything right so far. They are dancing the streets right now, still in Colombia, and with good reasons. Los Cafeteros are. This is the biggest thing to happen to Colombian soccer since Andres Escobar. Is this ever real? fantastic squad. I think they will handle Uruguay easily, and I'm excited to see what goal celebration they bring with them next.
You know what? I agree with you. Look, as I was saying before, Uruguay, of course, they lost 4-0 the first game. Colombia absolutely dominated, of course, that being in Colombia. They go back to Uruguay, and Uruguay has the clear upper hand. They should. But Colombia, for a good 75 minutes, up until the 77th minute, in fact, going to get a good hunk of cash. David Ospina, who is rumored to be the next Arsenal goalkeeper now that their previous one is gone. It will be interesting to see what happens in the end. I think that mixture of talent that Colombia possesses, as well as their strength in defense, will outweigh what Cavani can bring to the table, because unfortunately, without Suarez, they haven't looked quite as good. This is a much more talented team, a team that's used to the weather. They play in Barranquilla, which is actually hotter than it is here right now, where I am, hotter than 99 right now. So it gets quite hot. They know how to play in heat. In fact, they're better suited to it than a team like Uruguay. And I think this is all just in favor of Colombia. I think that their tactic, by sticking two center defensive midfielders on both center midfielders for Uruguay, will negate their ability to find Cavani in the midfield, and in the end, I foresee Colombia being able to come out with a victory 3-1 here over Uruguay to see them through to the quarterfinals. So, we've covered that. It's time to move over to the other side of the bracket. Greece. Oh, they went through. But you know what? Let's first talk about the team that didn't go through as a result. Ivory Coast, coming into this World Cup, had never made it past the group stage, and they had it in their hands. All they needed was a tie. They got 3 points. It's all they needed. All they needed was that draw. And early on, it didn't look good. They were down 1-0, but they managed to draw the game. They managed to tie the game, and you're thinking, "Oh my God, they're going to do it." The golden age, in quotations, is going to make it through. But no, they give up a penalty in the 92nd minute. Samaras puts it away, and just like that, Ivory Coast misses the World Cup knockout stages again. So, Jake, I know you messaged me after Ivory Coast got scored on that penalty. You obviously were not happy about it. What was your reaction? How do you feel about what just happened to Ivory Coast?
Well, no one knows my reaction. Spellcheck does not know my reaction. But when I look at what Ivory Coast did, you want to feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for the people of Ivory Coast, because this was the golden age 3 tournaments in a row, and they could not get through once. This was supposed to be it. This was it for them. And they blew it. They blew it again. A stupid penalty to give up. They were jogging up the pitch in the 90th minute. The announcer pointed out, it was tied at 1. Greece got it back in their own third. They're back third. And Greece starts sprinting to the other side of the field. And Los Elefantes jogging around, taking their sweet time. And Greece got the opportunity. So clearly, there was no... They thought they had it in the bag. They lost all hustle and urgency when they needed it the most. And Greece took advantage of it. Disappointing once again for that team. And also an apology to every neutral soccer fan we talked about before. I'll say it again. You have to watch Greece play more soccer. Again, it's not that Greece is bad. It's that, God, their soccer is ugly.
Even the names of the scores. So, first of all, Samaras scores, and then we have Samaris scores. So you don't even get a variety in the names.
I want to start a game show. Greek national squad last name or spelling bee word.
Torosilis, Manolas, Karnesis, Cholevas, Maniatis, all of these names. Oh, can we talk about the other guy who actually rivals Papastolopoulos' name? Christodopoulos.
Christodopoulos.
Okay.
Amusement park, spelling bee word, or Greek national squad last name?
I'm counting right now. 17 for Papastotopoulos, I believe. I think it's the same amount.
Isn't it like the Hawaiian lady who couldn't get her driver's license because her last name was so long it couldn't fit there, and it took her like 10 years to fight to get her driver's license?
Mm-hmm. Well, Ivory Coast is out, unfortunately, and they blew it again. But Greece is through, and they will match up with the surprise of the tournament, coached by Colombian coach Pinto. I love it. Colombia doing so well in everything they do. And obviously, they surprised everybody, finishing with 7 points in one of the hardest groups in the tournament. Everybody said it's Italy, or it's Uruguay, or it's England. No. It was Costa Rica this time. They managed to upset their way through, and they'll take on a stingy defensive Greece side. And for once, a Greece game is going to hopefully be watchable because of Costa Rica. Because, there's a little intrigue. Because you want to watch this Costa Rica team led by Joel Campbell and Keylor Navas. So, Jake, because I feel like it's your team in a way. It's the embodiment of Jake. We'll let you go first. Talk about Costa Rica, Greece. What do you think will happen? What do you see being the key factors in the game?
I think the key factors in the game, it's going to be about scoring first. Because if Greece scores first, Greece will immediately just go into defensive lockdown. And that's just going to be too difficult for Costa Rica. In my mind, I think Los Ticos need to make sure that they are the first to score. They need to come out with as much energy as they have in the group stages. They got to come out. I want Louise. I want Campbell. I want them amped up. I need them enthusiastic. They need to hustle. Don't pull an Ivory Coast. You have to want it. You got here. Now make sure that you strike first. An early, big blow. Because then Greece has to play catch-up. Greece is terrible playing catch-up.
So let's start with this look, Greece. So they've played well defensively their past 2 games. Not counting the Colombia game, of course. They played very poorly defensively in that game, allowing 3 goals. But since then, only 1 goal in the 2 games. Costa Rica, on the other hand, they scored 3 goals and they scored 1 goal. Then they scored none today. And they have really done well defensively, only allowing 1 goal to this point. And that was at the hands of Uruguay in the first game. So they really haven't been, I don't think, tested at the same level offensively. Uruguay, I think, was the most talented offensive team that they had to play. Italy really just lacked that creative ability that I was talking about previously. And England was in their transition stage, and it was their last game. They put in everybody who was just, if you were under the age of 23, you were eligible to play, or if you were Frank Lampard, who got his final game, and also Steven Gerrard, who most likely got his final game. Congratulations to him on what was I think a pretty successful England career, though England was unable, he was unable to get that elusive World Cup trophy that I'm sure he craved. But Costa Rica, I think, will be challenged more offensively. It's going to be a lot harder for them to carve out opportunities. I think they're better defensively than Italy. However, when it comes to what Greece can do offensively, Costa Rica has the definite upper hand. They have to make sure that they are able to shut down Samaras because he will be cutting in from the wings. That's where they like to play. And I think they have to make them work for their opportunities. If they are scored on first, they can take comfort out of the fact that Ivory Coast was able to score after being down. However, Ivory Coast risked everything in order to do so. If they go down early, I do think Greece will be able to pull it out. However, I do think that Costa Rica has what it takes. I think they have a good enough defense. I think they have a good enough offense. And I think Costa Rica lives to fight another day. I think they're going to move on in this one by another low-scoring game, 1-0. Score prediction?
What do I think of this game? Let's see. How would they say this on Univision? Los sueños de los ticos y todavía está viviendo. Costa Rica 1, gracias 0. Vamos los ticos.
So we are in agreement that Costa Rica
1-0.
will move on 1-0. It's definitely going to be a great game. So far we've got Colombia and Costa Rica moving on. Colombia team and Colombian coach. Now let's go upward to Brazil versus Chile. Then another South American matchup. On one side, we have Chile, who just suffered a demoralizing loss to Netherlands, but has also played exceptionally well and has looked very dangerous at their best, while kind of not as great at their worst. And we have Brazil, who came in as the favorites, but haven't really stepped up until the Cameroon game, and you can't really count Cameroon because Cameroon was bad all tournament long. In fact, they were the first team to allow Cameroon to score. So I'm not sure that's a good sign either. It will be interesting. Jake, you've started this whole time, so I'm going to take the luxury of starting one. Let's start off with this. It's going to be a great game. Chile has revenge on their mind after losing 3-0 in the last World Cup. Same round to Brazil. However, history doesn't favor them. They've already lost twice to Brazil in World Cup play. And though Brazil has struggled, I think that they have the best defense, or the most experienced center backs that Chile has encountered. I think that their offense is starting to come around the corner, especially Neymar. And I think in the end, we will have one of the few overtime games, extra time, and I think we are going to have a high-scoring finish, 3-2 Brazil after extra time in a very, very hard-fought match. I will stick with Brazil. I went with Brazil to win it all during the last show, and unfortunately, Brazil didn't do anything wrong to make me choose Chile, and Chile didn't do anything right to make me choose Chile. Had they beaten Netherlands, they would have been playing, or had they even tied them, they still would have played. They still would have played Brazil, but it would have been a whole other scenario. I'm going to stick with my gut at the beginning. It wouldn't surprise me, frankly, if Chile won, but I think I'm going to stick with what I said before. It's worked for me in past predictions, and I still think that Brazil has one of the more talented teams in this World Cup. Jake, I have a small feeling that you may differ and go with La Furia Roja.
Well, here's the thing. You said that Costa Rica was my team. Costa Rica was my team against Uruguay, and that was it. I didn't see this coming at all. Chile is my team. And yet I, too, picked Brazil to beat Chile. And I, too, do not like to change my championship pick. And I, too, like to stick with my gut. I went back and forth with this, but I had already made up my mind. I had already picked Brazil, and I don't go back on it, and I'm kind of infuriated, furia, if you will, with what that me and you have, again, the exact same final score. I was going to say 3-2 extra time Brazil as well. Ooh. Because at the end of the day, here's the problem for Chile. Again, Chile likes to risk everything, but when you have someone like Brazil, that's a team that's going to be able, and we saw it against Netherlands too, by the way. When you play the style that Chile plays, it works hugely in their favor offensively, and again, if they can strike first and control possession, that's big. But I don't see that happening. And one misstep against a still very talented Brazil squad, you have the two wide defensive backs come up, and now you have gaping holes. You have Brazil running back onto the pitch. We saw it at the end of the game against Croatia. I'm afraid that might happen to Chile again. So I think that at the end of the day, Chile's defense is going to be too vulnerable to overcome this dynamic Brazilian squad.
Also, before we go any farther, let's quickly go back and do man of the match. Armero. Ooh, I like it. Changing up a bit. We go now to Costa Rica versus Greece. We both have Costa Rica moving on. You know what? No goals. Keylor Navas.
1-0, I think it'll be because we have Joel Campbell's spy, so I'm going to give it to Campbell.
Okay. See, this is why our show is great. We have differing opinions. So we have, you know what, you can take any of our opinions now. And now we move up. We both have Brazil. And I think that if they are going to win, only one guy's going to have to step up, and it's got to be Neymar, so he's my man of the match.
I'm going to say that Neymar has been the one to step up. Other guys need to step up, and I think Hulk is going to be the guy that does it. Hulk, man of the match.
I think I'm going to go with Iron Man, actually. I changed my pick. Now, other side. Mexico moved through in what was a phenomenal campaign for Mexico. I mean, I think people saw that they're good enough to get through, but I don't think people saw Memo Ochoa coming. Super Memo was better than Super.
You could say that nobody got the memo.
Nobody got the memo that Memo was a lockdown goalie. After, let's flash back a couple of weeks ago in a friendly, their goalie gets injured, their starting goalie. And most people he wasn't even sure to get the starting job. But he did, and he has performed exceptionally. European teams wanting him, and Mexico has been terrific. And they barely missed out on first place in the group.
Now you want a flashback? How about we go back to this team who looked like they weren't even going to qualify, and then USA scored 2 goals against Panama. It's the Univision announcer for that game was known for famously saying, "God bless the United States," because it knocked out Panama, and Mexico got the right to a playoff for the final shot against New Zealand. In a way, Mexico is the 2011 BCU of this tournament, because as a play-in team, as if you will, they have come through.
Well, so is Uruguay technically. They had to play Jordan. They also had to do that last World Cup, by the way, in which they went to the semifinals. So play-in teams, you know what? The teams that have had to go to the playoffs, they haven't done too badly. So
this is just a very random question. Is Jordan's national airline Air Jordan? It better be.
Ooh.
Because if it's not, they've missed out big time. Let me look it up.
Okay, so on the other side of the Mexico... No, I don't think it is.
It's Royal Jordanian.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So let's go to the other side. We've got Netherlands, a team that dismantled Chile through a terrific style of play. They knew Chile was going to come all out, so they waited. And they waited. And they waited. And they struck. Goal. For changing my mind. See, prior to the World Cup, prior to the final prediction show, I was saying, you know what? Spain, I don't think they're going to go through. And in the end, I succumbed to European preference. And unfortunately, I chose Spain and Chile. But Netherlands has proved me wrong. By the way, we are having technical difficulties because being in Colombia means that there is going to be, that gap, or we will lose signal at times. But we are back, of course. And now there are two me's in the conversation, which is, I'm pretty sure there's only one of me. I'm almost sure. You never know, though. Cloning, it may be closer than we thought. Close.
You've said risk everything at least 3 times. Maybe it's like Biggie Smalls. If you look into your computer screen and say risk everything 3 times and your clone comes through.
Oh, that'd be great. Okay. But it's going to be an interesting matchup. They played once before in a thrilling draw in the group stage of a World Cup. Jake, will we see as tight of a matchup, or will either Netherlands or Mexico prevail in a more convincing victory?
I don't know. It's so difficult because keep in mind, Mexico already proved that they were a very, very solid squad. But there's also another point that you need to really keep in mind here. Mexico has been robbed by officials in numerous occasions in this World Cup. They would have been able to contend really for the entire group had they had some of their goals counted. Again, they should have beaten Cameroon 3-0. I mean, that 1-0 final score is a very deceiving final line. You had 2 goals in the first half that were called off wrongfully by the Colombian referee as offside. Then it was followed by against Croatia. You had not 1 but 2 Croatian handballs that were not called. So Mexico is already looking like a dominant team, and this is with referees seeming to almost hate them. You had Chicharito finally breaking through, scoring a goal. Well, we see a confidence resurgence with him. Dos Santos on his A game. Ochoa on his A game. You got guys like Oribe Peralta. Everybody is stepping up at the right time for Mexico. So it's not easy to write them off. But I am. Because if there is one team that has performed stronger, if there's one team that has really, so far, looked to be the strongest in this World Cup, consistency-wise, difficulty-wise, it is the Netherlands. And I said that the Netherlands really needed to prove themselves to me against Chile. And they did. And you had substitutes coming in. You had guys like Memphis, and you had guys like Depay. So...
Did you say the same guy?
Is it? I knew there was a guy named Memphis. I knew there was a guy named Depay, but I thought to myself, wait a second. Is his name Memphis Depay? Is his name Memphis Depay?
Yes, it's Memphis Depay.
Who was the other sub that scored?
Leroy Fair. Leroy!
Depay,
How could you forget about Leroy?
Same thing.
How could you forget about Leroy?
Thank you. So, it's gonna... Parting ways is such sweet sorrows, they say. But to our... we call Canada our friends to the north. I don't know why we don't call Mexico our friends to the south. But to our friends to the south, it was a great run. I'll be rooting for them. But I think that it's the end of the line here. The offense is just too dynamic. Netherlands 4, Mexico 2.
Okay.
We see the end of Memojo. No, 3-2. 3-2.
Okay.
Netherlands goes up 3-0. Mexico scores 2 goals, but it's not enough.
Okay. So, let's start with this. Look, Mexico has proved themselves to be a good team. However, Netherlands has proved themselves to be an outstanding team. They have had a rare combination of youth at the back, which has produced in a way not many thought. Ron Vlaar, 29 years old. Stefan de Vrij, 22. Bruno Martins Indy, 22. Dali Bleen, 24. And Daryl Johnmont, 24. As well as the talent in the midfield coming from Wesley Schneider, of course, who has always proven to be a talented center mid, along with Nigel de Jong, and then up top, Robin van Persie. Remember, Robin van Persie didn't even play in the game against Chile. However, Vidal didn't play for Chile, so balances out, I guess. But this team has a lot of scoring potential, and in the end, I just don't see it. I don't see Mexico being able to hold up against Brazil. Memo Ochoa saved them. This is a team that is clicking even better than Brazil offensively. Brazil had 4 clear chances. That's not going to fly against Netherlands. And I think that, unfortunately, Mexico has also not faced a team that I think is playing as well defensively either. And I think in the end, they end up losing 3-1. I think they'll be able to strike first, but I think in the end, it's just overwhelming when you have guys like RVP and Arjen Robben coming at you nonstop. And Mexico, unfortunately, will have to go home with the sour taste in their mouths, the sour taste of defeat to Netherlands, or Los Países Bajos, as they call it in most South American countries. Netherlands moves on. So, we now have our predictions. Now for the man of the match here. You know what? I've always liked Dali Blind, but I'm going to have to go with the one, the only, Robin van Persie here to come up big as the man of the match. Jake, who is your pick?
Everyone's been on their A game, but there's someone who's been on their B game, and we're still waiting for them to really come through and break out of their shell. That big aha moment, and I think it's going to come against Mexico for Wesley Sneijder.
Okay, so we now have our predictions for the games that are set. We do have to obviously move on, and I think there's no better place to move on than what you guys have all been waiting for. A little talk about USA. You know what? The country that we love so much, that has worked so hard to get to this point and was overlooked countlessly. And they have put themselves in a good spot. They could have been in a better spot. And we're going to talk about why. Jake, why don't you brief us on USA versus Portugal and what happened there?
Well, let's see. Early on, 5 minutes in, Portugal took the lead on a Nani goal. The team, USA, came out really sleepwalking. It was 1-0, went to the half, 1-0 Portugal. And it already looked bad. It's coming into the game, USA, in international matches in history. I believe it was 0-14-1 or 0-15-1 when trailing at the half. And it was starting to look hopeless. And in the 64th minute, we had a corner kick. It came, it was headed out, but the USA's Jermaine Jones got it, and I'll hand it up to Univision's Jorge Perez Navarro for a fantastic goal. And I think that perfectly encapsulates the emotion of every American watching that game when Jones put that in. It looked like the Portuguese goalie hadn't even really moved, but it had such nice movement to it. It was almost like in a hockey when you try to screen the goalie. I don't think the goalie could even see it. And when it went in, it was incredible. We were back in it. It was 1-1. And in the 82nd minute, USA had really held on to that momentum, and now everyone talks about Cristiano Ronaldo's abs, but how about Clint Dempsey's abs for knocking that ball into the net to give the USA 2-1, well, right off his chest. So 2-1, USA led. And this is it. The celebration was on. We were going to move on in the group of death with 6 points. It was unbelievable. This was a day to celebrate. And, oh no. This right now, I think, is the front runner for the most shocking moment of the World Cup, unless Luis Suarez's bite takes over. This was tragic, to be quite honest. 2-1, and here's the worst part. So 90th minute, we announced stoppage time. ESPN announcer Ian Dark says, "All right, 4 minutes of stoppage time." And a minute later, he says, "Oh my bad, 5 minutes." It's fine. Extra 60 seconds. 95th minute. Michael Bradley. A crucial, costly turnover in the middle third. And Portugal went the other way. Cristiano Ronaldo came screaming down the side. And you had Varane in the box. In English this time.
Something here. It's Cristiano Ronaldo. Oh, it's a great cross. And it's from Ferreira. USA denied right at the death.
Right at the end, Varela, 95th minute goal. Portugal is alive and well. Well, not well,
They're
but
not
alive.
well.
A 2-2 draw, and I would have taken a USA draw, but to be literally 30 seconds away. That was one of the most deflating things. I didn't speak for a good 20 minutes after that game, just staring blankly at the TV, thinking it was all a dream. So that's what happened. USA Portugal, instead of one, Jose Altuve has been ruled out for the game against Ghana in and out
Against Germany, against Germany.
and Recife
Against Germany.
Thursday
Not against
at
Ghana.
9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. I'll definitely be getting up early for that one. It's interesting now. There are 3 scenarios for the USA to move on. Right now, the leaderboard there in the group with goal differential as well. Germany is in first place with 5 points and a differential of +4. USA has 5 points. Germany has 4 points, differential +4. USA has 4 points, differential +1. Ghana has 1 point, differential -1. Portugal has 1 point, differential -4. USA plays Germany. Ghana plays Portugal. There's been buzz going around that USA, Germany just go into the game agreeing for a draw, but a lot of people agree with me when I say this. It's a bad idea. But here's how the USA gets it. A draw with Germany. Scenario 1. Scenario 2. A Portugal-Ghana draw. Scenario 3. We lose to Germany, but we win the tiebreaker over the winner of Portugal-Ghana. And if that does happen, the only way that it could work out against Ghana is if we, it would also depend on the score, because sadly the first tiebreaker is not head-to-head, as many people believe it is, but it is actually number of goals scored. So we'll see how it all breaks up for them. Do I believe that we will go through? Yes. Because Portugal and Ghana will draw. I don't expect us to beat Germany. I think Germany is a team far superior to us. I've been very impressed by the USA. And if we can go through and we end up playing Belgium, I think we'd have a shot there. I want to talk about Portugal and Ghana because that's not going to get a lot of coverage. And it deserves to. Ghana and the Black Stars, I have so much respect for this team. After drawing Germany, this is a country who had to ration electricity, who told their biggest industrial plant to shut down for the night so people in that country could be able to watch the USA-Ghana game. They borrowed electricity from the neighboring Ivory Coast. There's a lot of resilience and perseverance. They robbed against Uruguay last time around. And they're going to bring Portugal everything they've got. But the Portuguese, they do not want to disappoint. And they're going to be bringing everything they have as well. I think it'll be a 2-2 draw. I think Ronaldo is probably going to score a goal there. And regardless of what happens between USA and Germany, and I think it will be a 2-1 loss for the U.S. I think Portugal, Ghana, draw. And the idea of USA-Germany agreeing to draw, think of it this way. 0-0. Stoppage time. 91st minute. Everyone's just dribbling the ball around. We have the ball. Geoff Cameron has the ball. He's sort of just dribbling it. All it takes is one German player to decide, forget about this. I want to win. Take the ball away. Score the goal. Get the 3 points. USA is eliminated. In the USA, we don't play to draw. Is the chant, I believe that we will draw?
I believe that we will draw.
That we will win. I believe that we will win. I don't believe that we will win. But we don't play to draw. You play to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after the respect that you have earned, after the stage that you've gotten here, you are about to prove yourself. Do not take the cop out and agree to draw. Look, if they end up drawing, I will be very happy. But if it's agreed to beforehand, I don't like that. I don't think we're going to do that, and I don't think Jurgen Klinsmann is going to do that. I know I've been talking for a while, but I just want to say one last thing. Jurgen Klinsmann has not been getting enough credit, and he deserves all the credit in the world. He has not made a single misstep after the complete blast from the media. How everybody sort of just shook their head when Klinsmann was brought in, and every move he's made has been right. Every substitution he has made has been correct. Every tactical move. If you watch closely in that USA-Germany game, how did his substitutions affect the game? It was a substitution that was able to set up the ball up for Bradley to score. So, again, so much credit to Klinsmann. Good luck to the U.S.
I think, first of all, when people didn't understand the Klinsmann signing, you obviously, if you didn't understand soccer. This guy had led his German team to third place in the 2006 World Cup before stepping down. Guess who his assistant coach was at that time? It was current German coach Joachim Löw. So they've got a little animosity going. Jurgen Klinsmann, considered as one of, if not the greatest German scorer in the history of soccer, breaking multiple records. By the way, his record for most goals in a competition, of course, was broken by Colombian striker Falcao, who, of course, is not taking part in this World Cup after suffering a ligament injury in the club season. However, Klinsmann has done exactly what I thought he would do. He's come in and revitalized this team that had just suffered a tragic defeat to, of course, Ghana after the World Cup. But he has done right by the U.S. And I'm going to stick by what I said. I said that if there's any team that can beat Germany in this group stage, it is the U.S. Because Klinsmann knows Germany like the back of his hand. He created this German team. Most of what Germany has right now, most of it was him. Löw right now, he needs this win for Germany, though. Because if Klinsmann gets the win, if Klinsmann gets even a draw, the doubt continues. Once again, the disciple will still not be able to be the master. So at this point, it's going to be a coaching battle right here, and it's going to be to see who breaks first. And I think USA has a great shot of drawing this game. However, I think Germany has enough talent to pull it out. It would not shock me if the U.S. were able to draw this game. But I think the Germans have too much talent to tie this game. They know what's on the line. And I think that Germany comes out and ekes one out past the U.S. 2-1 to advance. However, when it comes to Portugal-Ghana, I think that Portugal will actually win this game. Look, Portugal has been given new life. And I think that that's not something that cannot be taken lightly. They will come out with everything they have because they know that they have to score an abundance of goals. They will leave space in the back that will give Ghana opportunities, but the potent attack, the continuous bombardment, will give Portugal enough to win a very high-scoring game. But I think in the end, 3-2, Portugal squeezes by Ghana, and with that, the U.S. is able to move on to the next round, which would be a big deal, of course, for the USA. Well, we're running short on time, so we will go quickly through the groups. Group E, of course, we are at the same point we were last time, so I don't think we need much prediction for that. Now we move on to Group F, which is Argentina and
Well, it's
Iran.
very simple. Nigeria. Come on. It's very easy. Take your pick. Nigeria or Iran. Who gets the second spot?
Nigeria.
Nigeria. Okay.
Yep.
Next.
Do you have a say?
I said Nigeria.
You said Nigeria? Okay. So now we move on, of course, to the group that will determine who the U.S. will play. Belgium will take on South Korea. Algeria, who absolutely destroyed South Korea, will be taking on Russia. So we start with, you know, I don't think we even know who's going to come in first at this point. Belgium, Russia. Belgium, South Korea. Who you got?
Belgium. I want to point out an interesting scenario here, though, because FIFA is going to be in hot water if this happens. Right now, Algeria has 4 points. Russia has 1.
Algeria has 3. Algeria has 3. They lost to Belgium 2-1, and then they won again.
Russia. Wait.
Russia has 1.
Wait.
South Korea has 1. Algeria has 3. Belgium has 6.
Oh. Well, never mind that. But I was going to say that for some reason, I thought they had 4 points and Russia had 1. As France and Algeria tied and Russia had won the game by 1, they would have had same number of points, same goal differential, and people would have realized that it's not that dead, and Algeria still would have gone through. We could have a USA-Russia matchup, but USA is probably not going to win the group.
No, we couldn't have it. Yes, you're right. You're right, theoretically.
Nonetheless, I'll be quick. Belgium and I think I'm gonna swap it. Russia's playing Algeria, correct?
Yeah. It all comes down to that.
As they say in Spanish, Algeria is going to move on. I think I've been convinced. I'm going to jump the Russia ship.
Yeah.
Into Algeria.
Look, it's not that Russia played poorly against Belgium. In fact, they played well, and they made Belgium look bad. It's just how impressive Algeria has been. Even in the game against Belgium, I think they played better than Belgium, frankly, up until when Marouane Fellaini came in the game and just changed it. Overall, Algeria has been very amazing. We have yet to see an African team go through. However, I think we will have 2 from the bottom half of Nigeria, and I believe Algeria will go through as well against Germany. So,
we skipped a group, by the way.
No, that was the group that we had already done that group, though. There have been no changes since then.
Oh.
So, I mean...
I still think Switzerland's going on, just to clarify. Switzerland moves on. Got it.
I agree. So, with that, I think, you know what? I don't think do we have any changes to our Final Four? Or are we still about the same?
I think it's Brazil, Argentina, Germany, and Netherlands.
Yep, agreed 100%. So, I guess, you know what? We have yet to see what will happen, of course. We have a long way to go in this World Cup. Tomorrow, we will have the next round. We will know who will play in the next two games. The final games at 11 o'clock will be Group E, and then at 3 o'clock, this is Central, by the way, yeah. And at 3 o'clock Central, we will have Group E, or Group F. So we will know who will... Oh, wait. That was very bad. Did I just get them mixed up? Okay. Again, Group F at 11, Group E at 3. We will know who will play each other. And then, of course, 2 days from now, on the 26th, we will have USA versus Germany at 3 Central. And, of course, we will also have Portugal-Ghana at 3 Central. And then at 11 Central, we will have the games from Group H. So it's going to be a great rest of the World Cup. We will definitely do a World Cup show at some point. And, of course, Jake is going to have Rookies Roundup, which I'm sure everybody out there is anticipating gleefully the return of Rookies Roundup. So, for Jake Liker, I'm Noah Ep.2. Have a great rest of your Tuesday night, unless you're in some country that is on a different day. Go Colombia, go USA. For every team out there, good luck in the rest of the World Cup, and see you later.
God bless America.